This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Acer Iconia Tab A100. That's their 7-inch Android honeycomb tablet. Latest kit on the block for Acer, and you can see it has a very long, narrow kind of design. Great for widescreen movies, otherwise slightly odd. Compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab, also 7-inch. Same resolution, which is 1024 by 768. And you can see Samsung has designed it so that it doesn't look quite so narrow. But really, they're pretty close in size. In terms of thickness, they're also similar, around 1/2 inch. Of course, this guy runs Honeycomb, whereas the Galaxy Tab 7-inch from last year runs Android OS 2.2 Froyo. So this is definitely a more up-to-date system, especially if you want to try out the new tablet features of Android. And this runs Android 3.2 specifically, which adds support for smaller display tablets instead of just the 10.1-inch Android Honeycomb tablets that we've seen. And it also handles pixel doubling, which means if you run an Android 2.x application meant for phones, it will stretch to fill the screen. Taking a look around, we have the unusual home button here, which isn't something we see on Honeycomb devices much because there's really no need for it. The home button is always pervasively available down here in the menu bar. But still, you've got it. It always brings you back to this desktop here. Capacitive multi-touch display is actually quite pretty and sharp. We changed it from the default wallpaper, which was very drab, to this nice picture, one of the included wallpapers. It looks good, but viewing angles are not so good. The minute you tilt it like that, you can see that it just about starts to disappear. On the side here, we've got speakers, stereo speakers, micro HDMI, USB port, micro USB port, that's for data transfer. Charging is handled by a little barrel charger. It's a 12 volt, 1.5 amp, not very unusual power source, but still it's going to use that barrel charger, not micro USB charger. Dock connector over here for potential accessories, a little reset hole in case it gets terribly hung, because you can see on the back, this does not have a user replaceable battery. And this is blue plastic with this kind of geometric shape, and it looks a little bit dated, to be honest, the design, but okay. 5 megapixel camera on the back, actually takes pretty good 720p video and some nice photos. LED flash. On this end we've got the power button, 3.5mm headphone jack. Up top we have the orientation lock, always a nice feature to have. Volume controls, and under this door we have the micro SD card slot right there. And if this had a 3G radio, this would be a SIM card slot, but this is not a 3G model, so there is none here. Currently there are no 3G models on the market. Who knows what's going to come though. And on the front we have a 2 megapixel camera for video chat using Google Talk Video Chat or whatever else you'd like. So who's the 7-inch Acer Iconia tablet for? It could be for two folks potentially. It's for those of you who are looking for a budget tablets, because this sells for $329 with 8 gigs of internal storage and $349 with 16 gigs of storage. Obviously a $20 difference is kind of a no-brainer. Unless you're really price constrained, you should get the 16 gig. But that's $100 cheaper than the 10-inch tablet, and it counters things like the Vizio. This is an 8-inch tablet right here with 1024 by 768 resolution running Gingerbread, we video reviewed recently. And that's even cheaper at about $285 to $298, but it's not as portable. Likewise, if you want to get an Android tablet, but 10 inches is just too big to carry around, obviously, and stick in your bag easily, here's the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 for comparison. The Acer Iconia Tab A100 is a lot more portable. In terms of what you get inside, the horsepower and specs, this is the same as the Android 10-inch Honeycomb tablets, which is probably why it's not lots and lots cheaper than the 10-inch tablets. You get a 1 GHz NVIDIA Tegra 2 CPU with hardware graphics acceleration, a gig of RAM, the 8 or 16 gigs of storage as I mentioned. It has the usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS built in, the 5 megapixel rear camera, 2 megapixel front camera, and HDMI out. So this is quite a powerful tablet, and it can run Tegra 2 zone games, for example. It can handle Adobe Flash quite well, and video playback of locally stored video is good. Since it's Android 3.2, again, it can run phone applications as well and scale them to the screen. And we've found this to be fairly stable, more stable than the Iconia A500 10-inch tablet was when it came out. The only thing we've had trouble with was Kindle, which launches just fine, but if you try to open any book, it does a forced close. Hopefully they'll get that worked out soon, because Kindle's obviously a popular application. So you can see what ebook reading is like on this. We've also installed Aldico, which is an Epub Reader. You can see this is not the greatest way to read right here in this orientation, but put it like that, and it's something like using the Nook color. It's a bit tall and narrow, but it's easy enough to read. And that works fine. Likewise, there's Kobo, Nook, and other ebook reading solutions. I personally prefer the 1024 by 768 aspect ratio that the Vizio uses for reading books. That feels a lot more like a book page, but this isn't bad either. Honeycomb tablets don't get a whole lot of customization. We see pretty much the same software bundle on this than we saw on the 10-inch Iconia Tab A500 model, including these, which are really just UI elements. You've got an e-reading group, a games group, a social group, a multimedia group, and these are just little backdrops basically for your folders that hold the applications that are appropriate. So in the game zone, we get a solitaire game that comes with it, and I've installed some other games, so I can add the icon right up here and pick my application. And there, I can organize all my games in here, and then there's always a shortcut to the market. The game says Tegra 2 Zone Game shortcut. We'll take a quick look at that. It's NVIDIA's Tegra 2 Zone, so you can see what's going on for Tegra 2 stuff. And we're doing this obviously over Wi-Fi, because this does not have 3G. So they have a spotlight of what's going on with games, and then games that you can download. And you can read about the games right here and get more information. And if you want to buy it, it goes straight to the Android market to buy. The e-reading application has Google Books Reader. It doesn't have the custom e-reading application that Acer made for the Iconia 10-inch tablet, but still, that's okay. That wasn't the world's most impressive e-reading application anyway. So get the idea. Some UI enhancements. In terms of other applications, we've got a couple of the Acer usuals on here. They're Clear.fi, they're Acer Sync, and they've bundled, I don't even know quite how you say that, OPO? Which is a internet radio application that you get a premium version of for a month, and you can choose your mood here. Say you're feeling energetic, and then you can filter by genre using the arrows here. Looks like we are going to have all genre. And then we hit go. And it streams stuff from the net. Now you can hear the speakers that are firing out from the side. Reasonably good for a 7-inch tablet. A little thin and tinny, but we've also got Nemo Player, which Acer likes to bundle. It's an alternative video player. It seems to do about the same as Gallery, honestly. Media server function to turn this into a media server. And a planner application. This is something that I really like. This runs only in portrait mode, but given the layout it kind of makes sense. So you get the weather over here, some late breaking news, your email inbox, you can choose which email box you want to have in here, memos that you can create, and whatever is on your calendar. And if you tap on that, you go to a bigger calendar view, which is nice, and geolocation information if you set where the event is happening. You can go to day view to get back here again, and then Memos, which is something that's generally kind of lacking on Android. So you can create your own memos, star your memos. And if you're looking at notes, oddly you can't do it if you tap on your note over here, but if you choose the note tab, there's my little post-it note, and then there's a sketchboard. And I can just add a sketch as well with these different drawing colors and tools. So simple smiley face for now, that kind of thing. And you can also email from here. And there's my fantastic drawing. That's kind of a nice application that's useful. I guess I figure you might be carrying this around like a pocket planner. And we've got Acer's Social Jogger on here as well, which is Acer's social networking application. It's okay, it's not super duper great, but it's not bad. Of course, you can download anything you want from the Android market in the way of social networking applications. Let's take a look at how video playback works. And we'll try Nemo Player. We're going to play a 720p high profile MPEG-4 movie trailer, which is pretty challenging. You can see the aspect ratio is perfect for these widescreen movies. Performance is good. This actually handles video playback better than the Acer 10-inch tablet. Go figure. And we will try a 1080p, which obviously isn't the best use of a lower resolution display like this, but if you're going to use the HDMI out with the TV, then you might want to play that 1080p. And this is standard profile 1080p, MPEG-4 file. That's playing very well too. Again, better than the Acer A500. And lastly, we'll try a high-profile 1080p movie, and this will be a bit too much. You'll see some frame drops here.
We're talking about huge potential for millions of people.
Yeah, you can see it gets a little laggy here and there. We get some frame drops, but
We call it the cure.
honestly, it does better than a lot of the bigger tablets on Android.
Stop testing the chips ASAP. We test one subject. I want to make sure it's stable.
And this has the standard YouTube player built in and all the Google applications, including Google Market, Android Market, and the WebKit web browser, Gmail, and email. And we'll test out the web browser. And there you go. It's obviously a very wide screen but short aspect ratio, so you're going to be doing a lot of up and down scrolling. Could use it in portrait mode, but that would be pretty darn weird. Speed is fine. Pinch zooming is good. And now we'll try our usual flash video playback test by going to YouTube. Here we are on the full YouTube site. This is the desktop version of the site. We have the latest version of Flash, and we'll use the browser to make it use Flash instead of mobile video format. And we're playing it at 360p inside the window here. Again, streaming over Wi-Fi.
Allow me to introduce my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughters.
And then we'll go to full screen 480p.
And my daughter, Sylvia. Whoa, where's... What's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So is quota.
Just want something to make a little more time on my hand than hours.
So it's pretty good quality. You see some buffering issues here and there, but that may be due to YouTube being incredibly busy, generally speaking, on weekends. People are streaming a lot of content. And for 3D gaming, we're going to check out Raging Thunder. Plays just fine. Looks good. Certainly very capable of playing games. And this has access to the Android Market, as I mentioned. We've got apps, we've got Google Books, and movies too. You want to rent movies and stream them. So it's good that there's some streaming media options here for DRM content. If you're interested in the movie, you can get more information about it. And if available, you can watch a trailer, which uses the mobile YouTube player. Battery life on this guy should be good for probably 2 feature-length movies. It's about 5 hours, which is short compared to the 10-inch tablets, but then this is smaller, has less room for a battery. This has two 1530 milliamp batteries built in. Like its big brother, the A500. It has 2 separate battery modules inside.
After death.
We go to hell.
And what is hell?
Where are you, Ran?
If you don't sit still, you will be tied down. A pit full of fire.
Should you like to fall into this pit and be burned there forever?
People think you are good, but you are hard-hearted.
So there you have Google Android Market with movies, books, and applications. Speaking of applications, there's no Office Suite on this, but there are Office Suites that you can purchase and download. They run around $25 on average if you need to actually do serious work with this guy. So that's the Acer Iconia Tab A100 7-inch Android Honeycomb 3.2 tablet. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website for the full review.